Sahanau bhunaktu Saha viryam karavavahai Tejasvinnavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, Prathama, the second definition, by the second definition, in the commentary by Anandagiri. Who was Anandagiri? Anandagiri was a Shankaracharya who wrote a lot of, many commentaries to Adi Shankara's commentary, and he mentions this particular thing of the Guru-Shishya relationship in this particular verse. Even though Adi Shankara says Bahunam, among many, could be either as a son or as a student, but Anandagiri takes it only as a student, because otherwise there is no point, because this is a teaching situation. Here we are not being taught through this Upanishad how to be good sons or daughters. We are taught how to be good students, because in the studentship lies the ability to grasp the knowledge. Because as long as the studentship is kept going properly in the way that it is supposed to, that is what ensures that the knowledge, that one abides in the knowledge. So that studentship, maintaining the studentship and increasing my studentship, the quality of my studentship, the quality of my ability to listen becomes, my predominant occupation if I am really serious about abiding in this teaching. This is what the whole thing is. And so therefore, with a view to having a helpful list of criteria, these distinctions are made. So it's about relating to the teacher, and in the first instance, so the Shushrusha is there, the desire to learn is there. So I'm not afraid to, do whatever it takes to keep myself in a listening situation, to ask questions, to interact, whatever it is. Because usually the fear comes because one doesn't want to be criticized. So that's why there are some very problematic idioms in the thing, like in the culture, coming out of this fear to be in a relationship with the teacher in the way that it should be. And one of the problematic idioms is, do not stand behind a donkey. Why? It will kick. Do not stand in front of the Guru. Why? Because you will feel kicked out, But that's a subjective perception. That's a subjective perception. There is no objective thing to that. If you interact with a teacher and you get hurt, that is, a teacher of Brahma Vidya, I'm not talking of any other teacher, a teacher of Brahma Vidya who comes from a sound lineage, if you get hurt, the chances are that there is some hurt that was already there, that was coming up. No, but what if the teacher was hurtful? Even then your own Shraddha can override that, and you can grow to the place of compassion, to allow, just like Nachiketa allowed the father to get angry without reacting, and grow to the place of compassion to accommodate that, and transcend the personality of the teacher with your Shraddha to see the person. This is what has to be done, and this is what a Shrestha student, the Prathama, will do. So that is what I meant by filling in the blanks as the second criteria. The second criteria is to keep myself in a place of learning by being of one mind with the intentions and the flow of the teacher. So the teacher's flow is coming closest to the cosmic flow, because the teacher of Brahma Vidya, is not separate from the flow, or is closely aligned with the flow, or is spending their time aligning themselves with the flow. So therefore, for the student who is not able to always discern the flow and see what is the correct way and what is the correct thing to do, instead of expecting from the teacher a list of things to do, the better is to just ride along with that flow. So there is one mind, one intention, one set of actions, and oneness. So we reproduce the oneness by aligning ourselves with the intentionality and the flow of the teacher. And the teacher, of course, the teacher of this knowledge is not going to have the intention of world conquest and domination. Then it would be problematic. Because the teacher has been taught by a sound teacher, so this teacher is not going to have, because that Shrotriyatvam comes. Shrotriyatvam takes care of, all these suspicious desires that one could have. And then the Brahmanishtha, being committed to Brahman, takes care of other useless desires like world domination, etc. So the teacher who is described as the one who comes from a sound lineage and the one who is committed to this knowledge, this teaching, will be, and the teaching not being very different from the kind of life that one leads, because the teaching expresses itself in the life, and so the teacher is not going to be far away from the teachings. And so aligning myself to the intentionality, both expressed and unexpressed, of the teacher is a way of being aligned to dharma, number one, and is a way of being aligned to what is that called? That oneness which I seek. So we reproduce that oneness by falling in line. It's like, like the birds do. They are in formation. And sometimes the bird will go off this way for a minute or two and then it will come back. So you just sort of bring the ability to bring oneself back is called prathama. This is what Anandagiri says. Further, expanding on this point, he says that you don't keep waiting. There comes a point where you don't keep waiting to be told. You see more than what is told because you are in alignment with the intention. And how can you be in alignment with the intention if you have competing desires coming, So if I want to be aligned with my teacher, then I shouldn't have any other desires that are coming in the way of this alignment. Because if they are there, then they will mount a very important defense and they will diverge. I will diverge from the path of the teachings and the teacher. Diverging from the teacher is diverging from the teachings. So I put myself back in alignment as many times as it takes and transcend the whole, because usually there is a fear. Because I want my own flow. Why should I make someone else's flow my flow? I have my own flow. I have my own, song that I want to sing. That is okay in the shower. But, if you're singing in a chorus, this is what it is. So you are in and in chorus means what? Everyone is aligned not to each other, but the conductor here is orchestrating this whole chorus. So here too, the alignment of each and every student is to dharma as exemplified by the flow in the life and the habits and the teachings of the teacher. So this is the alignment. So the ability to look for the logical conclusions of what this is, to be able to fill in the blanks of, because I'm aligned with the intention, I know what needs to come next without necessarily being told. That is, what? Uttama, Prathama. And then the next one is what? Madhyama. What does the Madhyama do? And Anandagiri says, the Madhyama waits for the instruction booklet to issue forth from the teacher, and does only exactly as it is told, and is afraid to venture and risk take, primarily because of fear of rejection. That's all it is. What if I do wrong? What if the teacher rejects? What if the teacher doesn't like? Well, if the teacher doesn't like or rejects your idea, then what happens? Then that means that I have to align my idea again. It's a lesson. So because unless one knows what is not correct, how to know what is correct? but the Madhyama is not a risk taker. Mediocre, that's why it's called Madhyama. So average. So waits for detailed instructions to be downloaded into his mental computer, his or her mental computer, every single day. And of course, and waits for them, waits for the specific things. And the Madhyama is a literalist. Has Shraddha, wants to learn, but wants just not to do anything wrong. The fear of doing things wrong, fear of abandonment, rejection is perhaps so high. I'm just extrapolating here. Is that, yathokta, how does he put it? Yathoktakari. Yathoktakari means does only as much as is told, and, doesn't think, that like there are certain common sense things that one can do, to help the teaching situation. You see something is not done, then you automatically do it. I mean, this we do it in our everyday lives all the time. Somebody drops something. You don't wait for instructions that this should be picked up, and then you don't wait for these instructions to come via FedEx before you pick it up. No. Oh, here you dropped your papers, or you dropped your glasses, or you dropped something. Here, take. You dropped your wallet. This, you immediately see that if you were in that situation, you would definitely want somebody to do. This is just common sense. But then when, the same student who in the life is fine, when comes to the teaching situation, becomes a literalist. Yeah. And starts to wonder. If the teacher drops the book in the class, the book out of which the text is being read and taught, is it a good idea to pick it up and give? No. That might be seen as too forward. That is coming from one's own subjectivity. I don't think I should do that. But then if I don't do that, somebody else will do it. And then they will become the favorite, So I have to prevent that at all costs. So then should I do it? Oh, but then there is another rule. What is that rule? That once the mantra has been chanted, you should not move. Oh, okay, I should not move. Yathoktakari. This is the thing. There is no flexibility. The first one is, the second criteria and the first definition is the flexibility. To see that this is a dire situation. And the Shushrusha being, I want to listen to the rest of the teaching, and if the book is gone, where will the teacher teach from? This is just a silly example, but so if the book is not there, how is the teacher going to teach? This is common sense. So I see something extra, and yes, it is not a good idea to cross the room and come in the way whenever there is a teaching situation. We don't move. And we don't cross the students and walk, you have to walk around, and if you have to walk, but then, this is a dire situation and I need to do something about it. And let me see how best to, effect my movement around this room. So that is the correct way to think. But here the student, is unable to weigh the two rules. One is, help needed, one rule, and out of the box, help needed, And the other one, another rule, which the teacher has given. So then the Yathoktakari sits in a terrible dharma sankata, terrible conflict of dharma. And by that time the book has been picked up 10 times, and then the class is already over because they missed half of the class, because the person who sat in a certain mortified paralysis. Mortified means as though dead. Yeah, mort means death. And so mortified paralysis and not able to act out of fear. This is what it is, insecurity. And so the thing to be able to sort of see, especially if you have, the more you spend time, the more you know, this is what is the general way things are done and things are followed, and this is what needs to be done here in this situation. And the one who is not afraid to think out of the box and to say 2 plus 2 is 4, sometimes it could be 5, whatever it is, to go that extra way, all for the sake of being in alignment. That is the first one. The second one, by contrast, is waiting for instructions. How many times? Every day. So once if you say, when the book falls, you should pick it up, then also it's not enough. Because the next time the book falls, the person is in great torment again, all over again. Either this instruction has been forgotten, or the person is so literal that that instruction was for that day. Now the book has, that was on Chaturthi day the book dropped. This is Saptami. So on the Saptami day also the same instructions or something else. And that time the book dropped in Rahu Kala. This time it is in, so the literalist is the Madhyama, who does only what is told and keeps waiting for instructions, Now who is Adhama according to this criteria? The one that will not do even after being told. Yeah. The one that has a hard time seeing the connection between the teacher and the teaching, and seeing the connection between the text and the teacher, seeing the connection between the knowledge and the text, the knowledge and the teacher, the knowledge and my studentship. These are all the connections that are missed. Those connections have to be kept alive. But how do I know the connections? This is why we spent so long on introductions. This is why we spent how many classes? 8 classes on introducing this Upanishad. 8? Yeah, something like that. 8 classes on introducing this Upanishad. This is why. So that all these basics are taken care of. So the Yathoktakari is not a good thing to be. It's a start. Because if one is starting with the other one, Adhama, then that means one has to grow into a Yathoktakari. And then after that one gives up the Yathoktakaritvam and then learns to be in alignment with the spirit of the teacher, not just the words. That is the whole idea. So usually speaking, the Uttama, is rare to find. Usually we say that all the characters peppered in the Upanishads are Uttamas. Adhama also nobody is, otherwise they cannot come to the teaching. So generally everybody falls in this Madhyama category. So this is what he's, Anandagiri says. Let us see what Adi Shankara says. Bahunam Shishyanam Putranam Va Emi Gacchami Prathamaha San Mukhyaya Shishyadivritya Ityarthaha. Yeah. So, Bahunam means among many, Shishyanam Putranam Va, among many Shishyas, students, or Putras, children, Emi Gacchami, I come, Prathamaha. And he says, he defines Prathamaha as Mukhyaya Shishyadi Vritya. Shishya Vritti, there is Mukhya Shishya Vritti. So, Asya Shishyasya, for this Shishya, Mukhya Shishya Vrittitvam Vrittita Asti. So this Shishya possesses what is called Mukhya Shishya Vritti. Vritti means conduct. Vritti means thinking, both. Achara. Mukhya Shishya means the best among Shishyas. He has all the qualities, and that's why Anandagiri steps in and unfolds those qualities, because Adi Shankara assumes everybody knows. He doesn't know that, even in Vedanta, Shishyatvam has to be learned. First you learn Shishyatvam and then you learn Vedanta. Because if you're not in alignment, in a place of learning, then the learning will not come, Yeah. So that is the whole idea. So what is this Mukhya Shishya Vritti? We have already seen. Yeah. Those twofold things. One is doing anything to be in a place of learning, and also being in alignment with the intentionality of the teacher, teaching situation, etc., so that one is able to extrapolate and take the initiative, not being afraid, suspending the fear of rejection and dejection, and not letting that stand in the way of developing a relationship with the teacher, so that I can continue to listen. And so being able to take risk taking is involved, the ability to fill in the blanks and take it a level further is involved. So then so that is what is called Mukhya Shishya Vritti. Then what further? madhyamanam cha
madhyamanam cha
bahunam
bahunam
madhyamaha
madhyamaha
madhyama eva
madhyama eva
vritya
vritya
emi.
emi.
Yeah, so here, why does he keep thinking of Amy? So, Amy means gachami, I rank, I go, yeah, in Gatau. And so, Amy. And so here, what is this? It's not a Amy, it is not Amy as in the girl's name, it is to rank. Yeah. So, usually to go, gachami, Amy, but like sometimes the words don't mean where do you fall. It's not that you're falling, it just means where do you rank yourself. That's what it means. So among many I have all the mukhya shishya vrittis and I'm ranking the first, and you will see as the story unfolds that there is not even the slightest hyperbole in this. He is serious, He's as serious as a heart attack and completely objective when he speaks like this. Yeah, he is serious. He's not joking around, or there is no exaggeration of his abilities. And he grants that I'm not the best. I may be the second best in many situations. What is that mukhya vritti meaning? Sometimes I may be scared to do extra or to understand that the whole idea is to be in alignment. Sometimes even I may have salvific tendencies and wait to be uplifted by the list of instructions of the teacher. Not just salvific. The feeling of being chosen and belonging, it's such a pervasive thing. I don't know what to do about it other than to teach about it. It is just so pervasive. Like I want to be called, I want to be included, I want to be chosen. This should have been dropped after the high school prom, because this, being with the teaching and the teacher is not like prom. Prom you wait to be picked and somebody has to say, oh, I pick you, will you go with me? This is not what you do with the teacher. You don't wait for the teacher to pick you and tell you what to do. But the Madhyama is stuck in this poor thing. And so he says, he grants, okay, maybe I am Madhyama. And Adi Shankara reads a little extra in here, and he says na adhamaya, and we have to supply vritya, na adhamaya kadachidapi. Yeah, because it is this vritti. Vritti means the bearing, the conduct, the beliefs. And so, when he says, among many I rank first, among many I may be in the middle, what does it mean? Never am I this lowly category that was described. Never am I that, I'm not that. And this shows that there is a high degree of self-confidence which is very, very crucial to gain this knowledge. Otherwise, you may know a lot, but there is an inhibition. And that inhibition to go, this is what it is, get into the first vritti. That is the whole idea. Because the vritti, getting into the first kind of shishyatvam itself brings in fears. And that is where the self-confidence issue gets resolved. So that is what is said. And he says, never am I the lowly type of student ever. I have examined myself and I don't think I am last at any time. And then further he says, tamevam vishishta gunamapi putram mam mrityavetva dadamiti uktavan pita. So now he goes to the matter at hand. He goes to the matter at hand. All right, that was all well and good. That was a nice song and dance, ranking myself. That felt good. Now, to the matter at hand, now, evam guna vishishtam mam, this me, who is never the last, always the uttama or the madhyama. The father said, I am going to give you to Lord Yama. To such a son, the father has said this. What is that going to be? What purpose could this have? So evam guna vishishtam, meaning the one who is endowed with this, equipped with these high qualities of shishyatvam, high qualities of santvam, putratvam. And shishyata is in full measure, putrata is in full measure. I am a good son and I am a good student and I am a good boy. And for such a good boy who is equipped with all these good qualities, now this father has said that he is going to give me to Lord Death. What could this possibly mean? He is trying to put, first he does a self-appraisal and then he does a self-appraisal in the light of what the father has said. So what does this self-appraisal mean in the light of what he said? So because if I was really bad, he could have said, you go to death. But I'm not bad. I'm not badly behaved as a child and I'm not badly behaved as a student. I don't have too many raga dveshas. In fact, I don't have any, but that you will see later. But I have a few, first two boons. You know that. So I don't have too many raga dveshas overpowering me. I don't have all these problems. So now, what could he possibly want? So he's thinking like this, So Pita Uktavan, the father has already said, what? Mrityave tvam dadami iti. So I'm going to give you to death iti, the father has said. And then to whom? Unto this putram, unto this child, who tam putram, that child, which is what? Endowed with these excellent and delightful qualities of being the best child, the best student. This father has gone and uttered these ugly words. It is not said, we have to extrapolate, okay, Then he wonders. So he's looking at his own self-appraisal, and the father's words don't jive, don't gel with his self-appraisal of himself. So here is me, I am neither the first or the second, never the last. And here is the father saying, I give you unto death. What is the connection? He is trying to connect in his mind. And so the first connection goes in the sense that maybe death has need for someone like myself. And that's what Adi Shankara says. And let us repeat. Saha kim svit yamasya kartavyam prayojanam maya prattena karishyati yat kartavyam adya means today. So today of all days, kim svit yamasya kartavyam asti. What purpose? Kartavyam prayojanam. What purpose is fulfilled for Yama of all days today for me to go there? As though he was not getting on with what he had to do. Very nicely he was doing until I came along. And now today I am being sent there. And then maya prattena, by my being sent there, passive, maya prattena yat kartavyam adya kim karishyati. What is he going to do? What is there first of all needing to be done? And how is he going to get what he needs to be done by my being sent there? And this is a rhetorical question. The answer is, he doesn't need you. A very good conclusion to come to. And this again shows that the teacher is not choosing the student. And it is a very subtle thing here in this mantra. He goes to Lord Yama even though he is quote unquote sent. But that is where he questions it immediately and he says, no, I'm not being sent. I'm choosing to go. And the excuse right now is so that I can protect the father's punya bank so that it doesn't reduce in interest. I can, for the sake of giving my father the merit of one more being in alignment with what he said, I'm going to do this. But I am not, what's that? I'm not, he is not calling me. I have no use here. I am going for my own benefit. This is the uttama shishyatvam. This is what it is. This understanding, it is very subtly pointed out here. We have to look at it carefully. Because otherwise, always the feeling is, I'm doing the teacher a favor by attending the class. Yeah. This is the feeling. And so that feeling is coming from who? The ego. Yeah. And what is the ego? That which goes is, yeah, in gacchati. Ego. That's all it is. E means to go. That's all it is. It's like a little dhatu patha. Ego. Yeah. And in means gatau. That is the root verb. And all these verbs, eshyati, emi, all these things are from E. So this ego, this E has to go. And E means go, really. So it doesn't have a leg to stand on. And then as soon as I start to feel that I am doing the teacher a favor, I am helping the teacher out, I am increasing the teacher's reputation by my own brilliance, even if that were true, even if that were true, because that's frequently true. And you may be increasing the teacher's brilliance by adding yours to it, no problem. But the moment you start falling into that thought pattern, what starts to happen is that the learning situation is not, is being compromised. And he rightens his relationship with Lord Yama as the potential teacher to come in the Upanishad even before he goes there. By asking this rhetorical question, what can this exalted Lord Yama, who has everything, who has everything planned? He has his beltway, he has his assembly line, he is a celestial, I am a mere mortal, and I admit that I make mistakes, I come second sometimes, one cannot be ranking first all the time. What can he possibly want of me? Meaning what? He doesn't want anything of me. And he says, I am going. He chooses to go. And this is a very important turning point in any student life, where you say, whatever I'm doing for the sake of the teacher is so that I can grow, so that I can benefit from the presence or from the teaching of the teacher. So that is how you convert what you do as a rung for the growth, for your own ladder of growth, spiritual growth. So that is what the whole thing is, and that is where the whole idea of giving, which is going to come later, and we just discussed yesterday also, the giving also has to be done in certain ways, we discussed 2 days ago, and that is exactly where it comes from. Like by giving something, like in the Vishwajit, I'm not doing the recipient a favor, the recipient is doing me a favor. Yeah, by receiving and giving me a chance to gain punya, giving me a chance to clear my likes and dislikes so that I am in right relationship with the knowledge. So this he has already rightened his relationship. And you see, this mantra is very important in the Upanishad. Otherwise he would have gone by default, I have been sent, meaning that studentship is not there. I have been sent to do Yama a favor. Here he recognizes this. He has so much brilliance that he recognizes this. And this is why he is the first among the Shishyas. No wonder. And so here is the turning point right here. Maya prattena kim karishyati yat kartavyam adya. What possibly can be there? Meaning you have to read into this rhetorical question. Meaning Yama is a celestial. And if Yama is a celestial, what can I do? A mere mortal assisting a celestial? And here is where all the mortals end up on his assembly line. And what am I going to do there? I'm still small, looks like I have a few years ahead of me, and obviously I cannot do anything for him. He is all knowledge, all everything, so I don't need to do anything for him. So then yet the father said this, so what does this mean? And further he says, Nunam prayojanam anapekshya eva krodhavashad uktavan pita. Yeah, Nunam should not be confused with another one. No. Nunam means indeed, in fact, I bet what has happened, he is thinking to himself. Krodhavashat, being in the grip or the control of anger. Uktavan pita. Uktavan means the father has said these words. Which words? Vrityave tvam dasyami iti. dadami iti. So I will give you to death. Like this he said, krodhavashat, krodhat, out of anger, out of being held in the spell of anger. Vasha means spell. Being controlled by anger, said that. And then therefore what? Prayojanam anapekshya. There is really no prayojana. Anapekshya means not anticipating a prayojana, not anticipating any effect or any purpose. He just said this out of anger. So this is an objective way to look at someone even when they are angry. You see, this is all part of Shishyatva. So someone is angry and you say, all right, they are angry, but why? So they said this in anger. So, that's interesting that when they get angry, this is what they do. So you look into the psychological order, you don't personalize it in that moment. And so here, that's what he does. Krodhavashat prayojanam anapekshya eva krodhavashad eva uktavan pita tathapi tatpituhu vachah mrishama bhuyad ityevam matva parivedana purvakam. Same thing. Sometimes it is in Bhagavad Gita, it is Parivedana sometimes. Yeah. Paridevana Purvakam. Aha Pitaram. Shokavishtam. Kim Maya. Uktamiti. Yeah. So by this time, now that he has some clarity, he decides to come out of his room. Why did he go into his room? To introspect. So then he comes out of his room much wiser and with little more inner space that this introspection yielded. And then he says, this is the sign of intelligence. Like, okay, he may have been affected and he went crying to his room, but then he thought of himself, these words don't make any sense. They don't gel with my own self-appraisal, and neither does Yama want anything off of me. And so therefore what? It must be the third possible cause, which is the father said these words in anger. And therefore what? So Yama doesn't need anything from me. But then, what do I want to do? I want to help him out. Tathapi, even though he said it in anger, although tathapi, yathapi krodhavashad uktavan pitha, tathapi, meaning even though he said this in anger, still, despite that, tat pituhu vachaha, these words of the father, mrishama bhuyad, may they never be falsified, matva, thinking thus, paridevana purvakam, full of lamentation and in a serious tone of voice, aha, said, to whom? Pitaram. Pitaram aha, said to the father. What kind of father? Shokavishtam, the one who was now in a very regrettable situation. He was to him who was regretting. Shokavishtam means completely overwhelmed by regret. Regret with regard to what? Kim maya uktam iti. How did the regret manifest itself? Oh my God, what have I gone and said? Oh my God, what did I say? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. To such a regretting father, this lamenting Nachiketa. Why was Nachiketa lamenting? Because he started off lamenting but he started off lamenting differently, because the harsh words of the father, he didn't know what to make of them. So he decided to do some introspection. But this lament is different. Yeah, this lament is knowing that may the father's words not be falsified. Meaning, I have to leave my father and mother and my toys and my house and these nice little yajnas that keep happening here. I have to leave all this and go to this place of Lord Yama. Why? So that my father will get merit from not his words, which were unintentionally out of anger talked about. He will get, what's its name? He will get a respite from this, from this samsara, if they are made true. Otherwise, he may land up on Yama's beltway in not a very desirable situation. Yeah. So therefore, it's better I go to Yama and rescue him from some other lowly birth. Yeah. crocodile. I told you, that's why. So too many lies means crocodile janma, meaning if you are really even in distress, nobody believes. So like this, that kind, because crocodile is very sad life. It has a very stoic face and is incapable of any expressions. Yeah. Even dog, you can make out the expression. Cat, if it's angry, it can show you and it will. And then, many other animals, you can kind of, even at the risk of anthropomorphization, meaning regarding them as human beings and reading into this subjectively, they do show some limited range of motion and emotions, in the face. But the crocodile, my God, always, eyes half open and just, half the animal is teeth, just lying in wait. This is what it is. So, these kinds of life forms exist only to exhaust karmas. Lying karma, thieving karma. Thief means you will become a magpie next time. Yeah. Always attracted to shiny objects that samskara hasn't gone. And it goes and takes golden and silver objects and shiny things, takes them to its nest and sits on them. The magpie is a thief. Yeah. So like these life forms exist to exhaust those karmas because there's no other way. And he doesn't want his father to end up on Yama's assembly line, headed the wrong track. And so he says, I better go, because if I go and recall what went later, nivaranartham. So to ward off the truth of the father's, the falsity of the false, to falsify the father's words, he says, nivaraniyam sata putrena maya. He thinks like this, that I have to ward off, I have to rectify what the father has done. Otherwise, he will not get his desired end. What will he get? An undesirable end. Did you find that? Yeah. Sata putrena maya nivaraniyam. Just in the previous, yesterday we saw that. Yeah. Sata putrena maya. Sata putrena means good, by the good son that I am, nivaraniyam. And kratu asampatti has to be converted to kratu sampatti. Kratva sampattihi means kratu asampattihi has to, asampatti means the bad results of the kratu, the ritual, have to be converted into what? Kratu phalam, into the good results. And therefore what? I have to do something. The last fourth mantra, that was very, that was already there. Yeah.
I'm going back to.
Yeah.
I was going back to.
Yeah. So anishtam phalam maya putrena sata nivaraniyam iti kratu sampatti kritva evam matva. That's what he said. He had already decided that maya sata putrena nivaraniyam. I have to ward it off. I have to ward off and change this wrong fruit of the actions into the correct fruit. And so therefore I have to go. And that's why he's lamenting, because he's going to be separated from the father and he doesn't know whether it's forever. Because usually when people go to Yama's house, they don't come back. Tadvagatva nanivartante. Yeah, yadgatva nanivartante. Tadhama paramam mama. Yeah, that is, Yama also can say that. And mean it literally. And natad bhasayate surya, netherworld, and there the sun does not shine. Na shashanko na pavakaha, neither the fire nor the moon. And then what? Yadgatva nanivartante. Once you go there, you don't come back. And this is a drastic task for a little boy, to go to a place where death reigns. And nothing but death reigns. And then not knowing, and usually people don't come back. He's not going to Europe and for an exchange student kind of a thing. This is not a Europe trip. Go get and sit in the train and go on U-Rail and have fun and exchange student. What is that? Student abroad program. Yeah, this is not a student abroad program. Yeah, this is equal to death. That is why so much parivedana is in his heart. He's got a lot of pain in his heart, but he knows this is the correct thing to do. And that pain, makes him say sorrowfully, because the father is now changing his mind. The father wants the mind to be changed. And what does the father is thinking? I did not mean it, and I'm not going to give up my son, my most loved son. All this we have to extrapolate. My most dear, desirable and loved son, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to, it is between me and the Bhagavan what happens. I'm just going to go against myself here. I may have said those words, but did I mean them? No. Oh my God, why did I say them? What was wrong with me? What was I thinking? Why didn't I just say go to your room? If that's really what I wanted today. Why did I say go to death? He's thinking like this, and to him who was regretting thus, what happened? The child is afraid that the father will change the mind and look for some loopholes, which we all love to do. We all love to look for loopholes. Yes, I said it, but I was inebriated. Yes, I said it, but I didn't mean it. Yes, I said it, but I was under the influence of some sleeping pill. Yes, I said it, but I was actually talking in my sleep. Yes, I said it, but I'm not going to do it. Yes, I said it, but it was an error of judgment. Yes, I said it, but it's not happening. We look for excuses. And every culture has a certain way of excuses. This culture also, there is very interesting excuses, but I know the Indian culture best. And there, they will say things, they will build up a whole story. I said I was going to come, and I was about to come. In fact, I had worn my chappals, shoes, and then as I was walking the door, somebody called, and they said they are coming just now. So then, okay, I waited. And of course, if somebody says they are coming, you can't just wait. You have to make pakodas. So I started to make pakodas. And you know what? They never came. Yeah. And then also I thought, already I have made the pakodas, let me take them. But then it was too late. This is the whole thing of why, nobody is asking even. But still, the person, and this shows why such elaborate excuses. Because in the Hindu tradition, in the culture, this whole thing about not doing this is so mortifying that one has to go into these justifications. And so you will give the justification even to the bus conductor when you climb into the bus. I always take the previous bus. That's why you haven't seen me before. But today what happened? I could not do that because of so many things. The water wasn't there, so I could not bathe, and the getting ready took late. That's why I'm on this bus. You give all these, and you stand in front of the post office, and then you give all these excuses, and then the Indian immigrant has a hard time because here nobody wants to listen to anyone else. Here the Indian immigrant goes to the supermarket and says, do you know why I'm buying this yogurt and not the other yogurt? Nobody is bothered. Nobody cares. There they care. Why do they care? Because they expect you to be upright in connection to your speech. That's why all these stories. Yeah. That's why I was wondering why these elaborate explanations. Yeah, because one has to live with oneself, and it's not easy to live with all these, cancellations, these internal cancellations. So as the father of Nachiketa is cancelling his words, he is putting some white out. He is pressing the delete button, click, 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 Mrityave, click, 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 tvam, click, 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 dadami, click, click, click. He is deleting it. And Nachiketa doesn't want that. Immediately, he starts saying, this is not a good idea. You see, he's in alignment with his father's mind, and he says, I know what you're thinking. And that's not a good thing to do. And let me tell you why. And so, he says, Anupashya yatha purve
Anupashya yatha purve
Pratipashya tatha pare
Pratipashya tatha pare
Sasyamiva martyah pachyate
Sasyamiva martyah pachyate
Sasyamiva martyah pachyate
Sasyamiva martyah pachyate
Sasyamiva ajayate punah
Sasyamiva jayate punah
Sasyamiva ajayate punah.
Sasyamiva ajayate punah.
Yeah. This is a very nice mantra. Anupashya. Anu means in keeping with. Bhashya, yatha, just as. Purve, in the past. Anupashya, seeing all that has occurred in the past. In your own family, or in the kula, or in the, society. Look in the past, he says. Look to the past. Has anybody said something that they would do and not done it? And I already told you the stories of the past. Has that happened? No. Nobody in the past belonging to this culture, worthy of being told that they are Vaidikas, have ever transgressed their own promises. Once they said they have done this, they have kept their word, even at the greatest hardship to themselves. Because, it's easy to say something and mean it, when you have all these resources. But when you have promised something that you cannot afford to give, but you have to come through, that is a huge thing. And so, look in the past. Can you say that anybody else has pressed the delete button on their words and crawled under a rock and pretended that this never happened? What is the answer? No. And then pratipashya. Prati means right now, here, in the present context. Prati means, prati means towards, right now. Look towards you, look about you, look around you. Paripashya, pratipashya. Tatha apare. Look at the others. Apare means others. First you think about, visualize all the people in your own clan, in your own dynasty, or in other dynasties, and look at what they have done. Has anybody been noted in history for going against their word? No. Now look around you and look at the people that you look up to, like anye sadhavaha, like other sadhus and good people in the society that you look up to as your role models. We are not talking of the people behind bars. Don't look at them. That's why pratipashya. Look towards all the role models. Look up to all the role models in your own times. Apare means others, right now. And we have to extrapolate the rest. Are they doing these kinds of antics? Are they hedgy with regard to their promises? Are they going back on their words? Are they second guessing themselves? Are they breaking their uprightness by going against themselves? Are they breaking people's hearts by promising something and failing to deliver? Are they doing that? And the father is again constrained to say no. Here the child has become the guru for the father. A very interesting reversal. Anupashya yatha purve pratipashya tatha apare. And then he says, you know what? You die. You will die. All of us will die. All the human beings will die. What is left? The body is not left. It goes 6 feet under or is consumed by the flames depending upon the mode of interment. And then, what is left? Nothing. Memories are left. And what is in the memories? This person was a hedgy fellow, never said what he would do, never do what he said, could not commit. Is that what you want to be written on your epitaph, on your headstone? This is the fellow who never committed to anything. Yeah. Uncommitted he lived, uncommitted he died. Yeah. So this is, issue, this is called fear of commitment. Yeah, fear of committing to yourself. We are not talking of some other project or person. Your own words. You don't even have value for what you said. Look at how low your self-confidence should be. You're not ready to upkeep and uphold and validate and ratify your own words. So So is this what you want on your tombstone? To say that, this person was a wild creature, gave people so much distress, because always promised them, the heavens, and then made them sing and dance and got nothing. He lived off exploiting people's sentiments by promising them things, but not delivering. Do you want to be known like that? What is the answer? No. Of course not. So therefore what? Your connection to the memories that you leave behind, your responsibility and your connection is just in form of the words and deeds. That's all you can leave behind. Yes, you can leave behind a lot of money. What good is that? Even the mafia don, when he dies, leaves behind a lot of money. But he's not known for that. It's directly inherited by the succeeding don. Yeah. That's all it is. That's why they are called don, because they don the previous fellow's avatar. Yeah. So, what's the point? You leave a lot of money behind. That even the don leaves a lot of money behind. But along with the memories is so much hurt, so much pain, so much sorrow. The legacy is not money. Money is not the human legacy. Even the squirrel, when it dies, will leave a tree hole full of nuts. Yeah, squirrel is has a futuristic, keeps gathering nuts, goes nuts, and leaves a lot of nuts behind. But that's not what, this is not leaving, even animals do that. And that is not the discerning feature of a human life. This is not the discerning feature. The discerning feature is the memories you leave behind. And the memories are the direct product of good words and good deeds, and hopefully the two are matching. You want to be known as being a woman, a man of your words. This is a person who stood by what they said, whose thinking was in alignment with their speech, whose speech was in alignment with their, actions, with their acts. That is how you want to be known. You want others to remember you fondly, and to that end, and you have to also not break the line of tradition. In your own dynasty, nobody has done this. In your own contemporary society, nobody is doing this. So what gives you the right? You are no longer, this is not your private decision anymore. What gives you the right to do this ullanghanam, to break this tradition? And not only that, not only will you leave bad memories behind as a person who could not uphold their own words, you will also break this long-standing tradition, and you will be known for breaking the tradition. You will have two strikes against you. Not only are you not doing what you said you would do, but you are doing something you are not supposed to do. You should go in keeping with all the stalwart ancestors and the stalwart exalted people who are role models right now. You should become a role model in death. Because otherwise, you are no different than a weed that is growing in the backyard. Sasyam. Sasyam means any kind of a greenery, kale, spinach, or rice, the shoots of that, paddy shoots. And the paddy shoots up, correct? Yeah. You don't even know when it comes out. And then what? Then it is mercilessly harvested. The people pick it, first they transplant it, first they grow it closely, and then they transplant it far apart so that it has some room to grow. And then what? Then it has the grains or whatever it is. And then it is uprooted and harvested. But then in the process of this harvesting, some of the seeds are left behind. And then what does it do? It grows again. Same thing with spinach. You take out spinach and then it grows again. You harvest the whole, uproot the whole kale, it grows again. Why? Because the seeds are still there. And so here, the seeds of your unfulfilled deeds will be sown again to cause a new birth. Yeah, he's already in keeping with Yama's mind now. Yeah, he's in alignment with Yama's mind now. the seeds of your growth are what? Seeds of your growth are in keeping with the seeds of your growth means re-life. What is that? Relocation? No, rebirth. Rebirth, yeah. Kind of a relocation. So seeds of your rebirth are already here in this life. They are harvested in this life. Because you look at the seeds and say, oh, you're headed for the desert, where you'll be constantly be deserted, nobody will keep you company. Oh, you're headed for the marshes, you're going to grow in a swamp, stagnant. This is what it is, the seeds of the rebirth are in this birth itself sown. Otherwise, you're just like a wild weed, which is very difficult to terminate. You uproot it, it comes back, you uproot it, it comes back. What's the use? You know? You will become like that. So therefore, he says, Parivedana, Parivedanan Chakara, very regretfully and sorrowfully he says this, he teaches the father. And he says, Sasyamiva Martyaha Pachyate. The human beings, Pachyate here literally means cooked. But it's not really cooked, it's like manufactured, as if like one is a weed. One gains a body, a mind and everything. Don't live your life like a offshoot of a wild seed. A wild seed of adharma. Don't live your life like a wild card, the joker. Don't make a joke of our traditions. Don't make a joke of our fantastic legacy that is not marred by anyone so far. Don't make a joke of our contemporary society where you will be laughing stock if you break your, your words. At least if you had said them in private, perhaps you could have got away with it in the society. You wouldn't have got away with it dharma-wise, but in the society you could have pretended it didn't happen. But you said it in the Vishvajit Yajna, in full view of everyone you have said this. So you have to get ready. You may be busy giving dhanam, but you have to get ready to pack my bag and pack me a sandwich. Tell mom to make me a sandwich on the way. And I have to leave now. There is no time. It's not like in my next life I'll be born with Lord Yama. No, right now. It's not like, I'll play with my Lego sets and go later. No, I'll wait for the ritual to complete. No, when the words are said, that is when I have to leave right now. And the class is going to end right now. So we will pick this up tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Vivian said wrong when Swamini was talking about the Guru. Wrong notions by well-meaning New Agers misinform us of the Guru's nature. Thanks for teaching us.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. 4 o'clock, I suppose. Yeah.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Swamini.
And today there is Kathopanishad too.
And today there is Kathopanishad as well, Swamini.